The Galactic Military Academy's weapons laboratory fell silent as Cadet Mino carefully unwrapped the ancient cloth bundle. Her fellow cadets, a mix of crystalline Zephyrians, scaled Drachmari, and gaseous ethereals, leaned forward with curiosity. Even the instructor, a towering Vorthon with 4 arms, paused his lecture on modern plasma weaponry. "What primitive relic is this?" whispered Cadet Zix, his crystalline form refracting the lab's sterile light. His species had mastered energy, manipulation for millennia, finding physical projectiles laughably archaic. Mino's fingers traced the weathered metal of the revolver, her touch reverent. "This belonged to my great-great-grandfather," she said softly. "It's over 300 Terran years old." The Drachmari cadet, Sektar, flicked his forked tongue dismissively. 300 years? My people were building quantum disruptors when your species was still discovering fire. David, the only other human in the program, stepped closer to Mino. He recognized the weight of history in her hands, understanding what the others could not. "Tell them about the bullets, Mino." She opened a small wooden box, revealing 6 tarnished, brass cartridges. The alien cadets' various sensory organs focused on the simple ammunition, unimpressed by their crude appearance. "These bullets," Mino began, her voice carrying across the silent laboratory, "were forged in 2387, during the siege of New Shanghai. Earth was dying, our resources nearly depleted, our technology primitive by galactic standards. We had no energy shields, no plasma weapons, no faster-than-light communication." Instructor Velthak's massive form shifted, his 4 arms folding as he listened intently. Even he, with his species' 1,000-year military tradition, found himself drawn to the human's tale. "The Hive Collective had surrounded our last major city," Mino continued, carefully loading 1 bullet into the cylinder. "Billions of insectoid warriors, each the size of a human, with exoskeletons that could deflect our most advanced missiles. Their ships blocked out the sun for months." Zix's crystalline structure dimmed with skepticism. "And you survived with those metal pellets?" Mino's smile was grim. "My ancestor wasn't fighting the Hive with this gun. He was part of the evacuation force, protecting the civilian transports as they launched from the spaceport. But when his plasma rifle overheated, when his armor's power cells died, when everything technological failed him," she spun the cylinder with practiced ease. "He had this." The sound echoed in the chamber, ancient, mechanical, requiring no power source, no complex systems, just physics and gunpowder. "The Hive drones were adapted to counter energy weapons," David added, understanding flowing between the 2 humans. "But they'd never encountered kinetic projectiles moving at supersonic speeds." Sektar's scales rippled with what his species considered laughter. 6 bullets against billions of enemies? Your ancestor was delusional?" Mino's eyes hardened. "Those 6 bullets bought enough time for the last transport to clear the atmosphere. 2,000 children survived because my great-great-grandfather knew that sometimes the oldest solutions are the most reliable." She held up one of the remaining bullets, its brass surface green with age. "This metal was mined from asteroids our species had claimed through blood and determination. The lead was extracted from the ruins of old Detroit, smelted in furnaces powered by the last coal on Earth. The gunpowder was mixed by hand in underground bunkers while Hive scouts patrolled overhead." The alien cadets found themselves strangely moved by the humans' words, though they couldn't quite understand why. "Every component of this ammunition represents human stubbornness," Mino continued. "When the galaxy told us we were too primitive, too weak, too young to matter, we kept building. When our enemies said our weapons were obsolete, we kept fighting. When logic said we should surrender, we kept believing that sometimes the simplest answer is the right one." She raised the revolver, pointing it at a training target across the room. The movement was fluid, practiced, carrying 3 centuries of muscle memory passed down through generations of her family. "These bullets were forged before the Zephyrian homeworld achieved sentience," she said, causing Zix's crystalline form to flicker with surprise. "They were cast when the Drachmari were still learning to harness fire, when the ethereals existed as nothing more than cosmic dust." The weapon fired with a sharp crack that made every alien in the room flinch. The projectile struck the center of the target with devastating accuracy, punching through advanced composite materials designed to absorb energy weapons. "Impossible," breathed Velthak. "Those targeting systems are rated against modern ordnance." David stepped forward, understanding his friend's demonstration. "That's because they're designed to disperse energy, not absorb kinetic impact. Humanity spent millennia perfecting the art of throwing rocks very, very fast." Mino carefully ejected the spent casing, the brass tinkling as it hit the floor. "This is why humans are here at the Academy, not because we have the most advanced technology, or the longest military tradition, or the most powerful weapons." She holstered the ancient revolver. "We're here because when everything else fails, when your computers crash and your power dies, and your enemies adapt to every trick you know, we remember that sometimes all you need is a piece of metal moving very fast in the right direction." The laboratory remained silent for a long moment, alien minds processing the implications of what they'd witnessed. Slowly, almost imperceptibly, the other cadets began to look at their human classmates with new respect. As Mino carefully rewrapped her ancestor's weapon, Zix's crystalline voice whispered across the room, "Remind me never to underestimate human simplicity." "It's not simplicity," David replied quietly. "It's reliability forged through necessity. And that," he glanced at Mino with pride, "is what makes us human."